Got the guys from Cathedral here on the Headbangers Ball. We have Gaz and Lee. Welcome to the ball.
I do.
Now, you guys have been on tour for a while with Mercyful Fate.
That's right.
Yep.
And how's that show been going?
It's been going pretty cool. You know, it's ups and downs as with every tour.
Uh-huh.
You know, you lose track of being on tour after a while anyway. You know, living out of Taco Bell's, like staying in Motel 6, and being stuck in a van for 10 hours with the same people. It's kind of...
Now, how long has Cathedral been together?
3 years. About 2.5 to 3 years.
So now, have you been to America before?
Yeah.
This is like about our third time.
Uh-huh.
Well, this is our second full tour.
Because where are you from? Where the band originated in England?
Yeah.
Now, it seems like to me, listening to the Cathedral, and we played the video a couple times on Headbangers Ball, that you guys have a real heavy sound, but also it's heavy with a lot of the influences from some of the older stuff like the Sabbath or stuff like that.
Well, that's what it's about to us anyway, you know.
Well, Sabbath is without a doubt our most collective...
So good, I heard that in the song, so then it was right.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing been, as far as we're concerned, there's like nothing wrong being compared to, like, say, as we're concerned, like the greatest band that ever walked the earth, you know.
I mean, there's a lot of cool bands been around in their day, you know. To us, Sabbath is the ultimate band ever existed, ever, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't try and copy their style or anything. They're just a big influence.
No, that's what I said when I heard the CD. What it sounded like to me, it sounded like that you guys were influenced, but it has a real heavy attitude too. It's got like a lot of heavy stuff that we're listening to today.
We're just like trying to be. I mean, you know, you get these bands who claim to be like heavy metal for the '90s, but I mean, as far as we're concerned, like, oh, you know, we are heavy metal. We're just like straight down the line heavy metal, but we're just trying to be real heavy, you know. I mean, people say we're death metal. I mean, I don't hear any death metal in this at all. You know, it's irrelevant.
It's more the vibe, you know, from the early '70s that we're trying to capture. It's not, you know, it's not as though we're trying to relive the '70s or anything. It's just the vibe of like 100% freedom in music creativity. You know, that's what we want to try and recapture, that vibe, not try and relive that era or something.
Great. Well, the record is called. How do you pronounce the word?
Ethereal Mirror.
Ethereal Mirror. How is that? And we're going to be talking to the guys from Cathedral, and we're also going to play their video for Midnight Mountain when the Headbangers Ball continues. We're back on the Headbangers Ball. We've got Gaz and Lee from the band Cathedral. Now, on the record, Ethereal, how's that? The Ethereal Mirror, which looks something like this, which is out in your stores right now. Now, Gaz, you play guitar and bass on the record.
Yeah.
Was that?
Well, that's simply because we never found a bass player in time to do the record, and even if we did have, you know, it was simply a case of I knew all the stuff anyway, so I thought I'd just play it instead of learning somebody. But I mean, still up to this day, I mean, we've only got like a temporary bass player at the moment on tour with us, who we do want to join. But I mean, he's going through a pretty hard time at home and stuff like that, so it might not work out, but we do want him to stick around. His name's Scott.
And, he's totally into the music.
He's totally into it, but you know, he's got a lot of problems at home, and it might cause him not to continue with us. But we want him to, we still want him to be in the band and stuff like that. The only reason, like I say, I played bass was because we never had a bass player. And
you already knew all the stuff
yeah,
anyway.
It's easy for me
he wrote most of the material as well, so...
You know, it was just easier than me playing it rather than sit down for like, you know, a month with somebody and say, no, you know, even though we never found anybody in time anyway, you know.
Plus half of the songs came together about a week before we went to the studio as well.
What, did you have like a set deadline, say, okay, you guys have got to put out a record by this time, and say, okay, well, let's start writing now?
Well, no, we had a set time to go in the studio. We were in the studio by January, and you know, we had about 13 songs around December, but we like threw like 7 or 8 away, and we had like this was like I say about a month before we went in the studio, and then we had like we
realised like about 3 weeks prior to going to the studio that the songs just weren't us, you know, like at least half of the songs that we had ready, and it was a case of just like freaking out and just putting our heads to the wall and just like within the space of 10 days coming up with another 6 songs, you know, and like half of the lyrics and stuff were actually written in the studio, and I was seeing them for the first time and stuff. I mean, that's the way we always work. That's the way we've always worked until now.
It wasn't I mean, before it's not been as manic as this time. Though, that was totally intense what we were doing, just doing that, you know, writing, rehearsing, recording, mixing, and whatever, laying down the vocals, and then we'd be recording another song. Boss would be up in his room, like writing the words and stuff like that.
I mean, it adds a total spontaneous vibe to it, which makes it more...
Which is kind of nice sometimes.
It is, yeah.
Okay, we're going to play a video right now, Midnight Mountain. Anything, it's a debut. Anything you want to tell us real quick about the video?
Okay, well, don't take it seriously. It's tongue-in-cheek, and that's all. Yeah,
I mean, the song itself, Midnight Mountain, is not really a typical Cathedral song in the same sense as the video is not a typical Cathedral video. I don't know if there is a typical Cathedral video, but, I mean, it's just... just us living out our disco fantasy, really, I guess.
Okay, well,
it's not a case of like all of a sudden we've just seen like, I know this 70s thing is like getting big and everybody's wearing all these flares and things like that, but we haven't just like all of a sudden turned around and thought, oh, well, we'll just do it, but we'll just go over the top with it. We're just doing this tongue in cheek anyway, so I mean, just don't take it seriously.
so take it for what it's worth. Here's the debut. This is Cathedral. We're back on the Headbangers Ball. That was Typo Negative, and definitely has a little bit of a Halloween feel to that video. And speaking of Halloween, you guys have got a pretty wild show lined up for Halloween.
Yep, the tour ends at the Academy on the 31st, so should be pretty cool.
I think you guys are playing the Limelight Halloween.
Yeah,
We're playing afterwards as well.
So you guys got 2 shows Halloween night.
Yeah.
The Academy's like the full show, and then I think at the Limelight, say 1:30 or something, apparently there's an MTV party.
Uh-huh.
And we're just going to do a few songs, I guess, and it's free admission. I think if people go to the Academy show and have the ticket stub, they can get into the Limelight show free. So.
Now, Halloween night at the Academy, you're playing with Mercyful Fate,
Right, yeah.
Which should probably bring all the sickos out for Halloween night
should be
to
fun.
see Mercyful Fate.
On Halloween.
How's the tour been going so far with them? I mean, you've been having a good time with that show?
Yeah, fair response from the crowd, I suppose. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, you know.
I mean, I think like Mercyful Fate's audience is probably like
Mercyful Fate's audience.
older generation kind of.
Right.
Yeah,
rock fans,
what I can't understand about that, though, the older generation, is the fact that there's a lot of young kids there who probably never even heard them the first time around, like, and you know, they go down, they're shouting Satan's fall, evil and stuff like that, and it's like they probably never even heard of Mercyful Fate the first time around, which is really weird, but I mean, it's a good thing in itself, like, you know, and, you know, I suppose the younger they are, the more, like, they can get into us, I suppose, you know, because kind of young.
I mean, people have been like, I mean, there's probably about, say, 5 or 6% of the audience who are really familiar with us every night, and the rest of the audience is kind of standing there. They're not walking away. They're curious, you know, and it's kind of.
Well, it seems like it's always tough to be in an opening band position because people sometimes aren't as open to listen to the first band. They want to see the headliner and they don't care what comes up. You know?
Totally.
I mean, no matter what the response is, we always like put on the best show we possibly can because we love the music and we just get totally into it. You know, if there's like people fret, that probably incites us to get into it more, you know.
Now, what about after Halloween? What are your tour plans? Anything yet?
Well, we'll take a week off, I think, a week and a half or something, and then hopefully we're supposed to be coming back on the 11th of November with like Rob Alpha's new band Fight.
That'd be a good tour. That'll be a fun show.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we're not doing a full tour. We're doing like 3 weeks, and I think it's like a 6-week tour, and we're doing the first 3 weeks.
It's not definitely confirmed, but it looks like.
No,
So cross your fingers, ladies and gentlemen, and if you hear about Fight, see what Cathedral's playing with them. Once again, the record is called
Ethereal Mirror.
Ethereal Mirror. It's out in your stores. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. It's been great.
Ricky. Right,
and Halloween, look for them in New York, and after that, hopefully coming to a theater or drive-in near you. And right now we're going to play a video from Sepultura. Now the new Sepultura, it sounds definitely like it's been produced a lot better. It's got a much bigger sound, but it hasn't left the whole feel on what Sepultura is all about. This new record, video rather, was filmed in Israel. So right now let's take a look at Sepultura with Territory.